Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm building something pretty special. If you have been on this channel since the start, you might remember this map. This is Minas Tirith, and it's actually the first thing I ever built in Fortnite Creative. Well, I think it's fair to say that creative mode has completely changed since then, so it'll be interesting to see what this transformation will look like at the end. Alright guys, to start off, I'm using these props from the ring gallery to mark out the foundations for our castle. Unfortunately, the ring gallery can't expand wide enough to reach the city's outer walls, so I have to eyeball those foundations with the wooden walls. With the foundations laid, it's time to start creating the gatehouse. I'm using the white stone pillars for the main sections of the wall, as they are absolutely perfect for this. The reference images I'm using are also helping in making the gatehouse look as accurate as possible to the movies. The battlements were by far one of the hardest aspects to recreate here, but I finally settled for these, which are built out of a mantelpiece from the medieval gallery. Finally, with the gatehouse finished, I could move on to building the city walls. To do this, I am copying and pasting in these pre-built walls, and making that iconic circular shape around the castle. From the reference images, you can also see that there are towers located at equal intervals along the wall, so I made sure to include them by copying and pasting in the pre-built towers. Okay, now it's time to create the tiered structure for our city. Selecting the ring props, I'm raising them by about 5 or 6 tiles, and then covering the base with the same stone pillars we'd used for our walls. In total, I created 4 tiers where the tallest one would house the palace and the white tree. Also guys, I know this looks a bit like a birthday or wedding cake right now, but we still got a ton of work to do. So don't worry, it won't look like this much longer. This castle is set right in front of a mountain, which means I have to recreate that as well. To start off, I'm putting together this custom rock and then copying and pasting it behind the castle. Next up was the giant rock outcropping that divides the city in half. To make this as accurate as possible, I again used the ring gallery girder props to create a frame and then covered it in boulders. Once I'd finished all that, it was time to start creating the walkways rising all the way to the top of the castle. To achieve this, I built a template ramp and copy and pasted onto the inside wall of the first tier. Now that I have an example for the ramp finished, I went about creating the second ramp for the next tier. To make the map less repetitive, I wanted each ramp to be different in design. As you can see here, this ramp will run right through the third tier, creating a tunnel all the way up. To complete the second tier, a tunnel needs to be built that goes through the center rock outcropping. To design the final ramp, which will connect the top tier, I want to make it as fancy as possible, so I copy and pasted the same arch that is at the main gate. As the ramp for the final tier rises, it also needs to change direction. This was quite awkward to achieve, but the end result was perfect. Finally, the battlement barriers needed to be added, and with that complete, the main foundations for the city have been laid. Now it's time to start building the rest of the top tier. First up is the courtyard where the white tree is situated. This turned out way better than I expected, as the Haunted Hills tree fits in perfectly with this. Then I start constructing the palace. I'm using these images to make it as accurate as possible. There are separate towers at each side of the building, so I built them away from the palace first before pasting them in. Once I'd finished the front facade, I started to work on the interior, making sure to include the 2 different thrones. To complete the palace, a larger tower needs to be built to the right side of it, along with a smaller structure at the left side. Alright guys, now we can really start bringing this city to life. Here you can see me start building some of the city structures that will be copied and pasted in later on. We are going to be starting from the bottom tier and work our way up. I want to make sure that all these buildings don't look too similar, so I make subtle changes by making the direction the roofs are facing different and adding details such as pillars to the outside walls of the houses. Some of these houses will even have interiors, but most will be inaccessible. Okay, some serious progress has been made. but it's time to add some more detail to the city. These are the props that I have assembled that will make the city seem less empty. As you can see here, the city streets and houses are receiving a complete makeover as I'm adding in plants, hay bales, fire logs and wooden trailers. To add in the final details of this project, I'm going to be creating these balconies and then pasting them in against the walls of the city tiers. Alright guys, that just about finishes up this build. Let's watch the map trailer. Thanks so much for watching the whole video, it really helps out a lot. Also feel free to follow me on my Instagram or join my Discord server if you ever want to get in a game with me. Both of those links are in the description. That's it for me, see you in the next video.